In today's video, we delve deep into the Winawer variation of the French defense, a highly strategic and complex opening choice popular at all levels of chess. Named after the Polish player Szymon Winawer, this variation is known for its tactical richness and unbalanced positions, offering a battlefield full of strategic possibilities. The French defense, characterized by the initial moves e4 and e6, is a solid and robust choice against e4. It leads to various complex structures, and the Winawer variation, in particular, is renowned for the dynamic and asymmetric positions it produces. This deep dive aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of this variation, enhancing your strategic vision and opening repertoire. 1. e4, e6. White begins with the king's pawn opening, aiming for control of the center. Black responds with e6, signaling the French defense, preparing to challenge White's center while keeping a solid structure. 2. d4, d5. White solidifies central control with d4. Black counters with d5, directly challenging White's central pawn and paving the way for the development of the bishop to b4. 3. Knight, c3, bishop b4. White develops the knight to c3, supporting the e4 pawn and preparing for further central expansion. Black plays bishop to b4, the starting point of the Winawer variation, immediately pinning the knight and creating pressure. 4. d5, d5. White decides to capture the pawn on d5, opening lines and relieving the central tension. Black recaptures with the e-pawn, which opens the e-file for the rook and queen while maintaining a solid pawn structure. 5. Bishop d3, knight f6. White's bishop move to d3 targets the h7 pawn, setting up potential threats against the black king. Black develops the knight to f6, targeting the e4 square and preparing for kingside castling. In these opening moves, we witness the foundational structure of the Winawer variation come to life. White's pawn structure and piece development aim for central dominance and kingside attacking chances. Meanwhile, Black's setup, with the bishop on b4 and pawns on d5 and e6, focuses on counterplay and complex strategic battles. The stage is set for a rich middle game, filled with tactical and positional themes characteristic of the Winawer variation. 6. Knight e2, c6. White repositions the knight to e2, a strategic move that clears the way for the c-pawn and aims to redeploy the knight to more active squares. Black strengthens their central pawn structure with c6, supporting d5 and preparing for a potential expansion on the queen side. 7. Castle. White castles, ensuring the safety of the king while connecting the rooks. Black mirrors this movie, castling kingside, which marks the completion of the initial development phase and transitions into the middle game. 8. a3, bishop d6. White advances pawn to a3, challenging Black's bishop and hinting at a potential b4 expansion. Black retreats the bishop to d6, a more active square, where it exerts pressure on the h2 pawn and oversees important central squares. 9. Bishop f4, bishop f4. White develops the bishop to f4, challenging Black's bishop and aiming to trade off Black's active bishop. Black accepts the exchange, capturing on f4, which opens the g-file for potential rook activity. 10. Knight f4, g6. White recaptures with the knight, bringing it to an active and centralized position. Black responds with g6, solidifying the kingside structure and preparing to develop the f8 bishop. 11. Knight e2, knight d7. White repositions the knight to e2, possibly aiming to support d4 or f4 in future. Black develops the knight to d7, reinforcing the control of central squares and preparing to reposition the knight to a more active role. 12. c3, rook e8. White solidifies the center with c3, supporting the d4 pawn and preparing for possible queenside expansion. Black places the rook on e8, aligning it with the queen and enhancing central pressure. 13. Rook e1, queen b6. White moves the rook to e1, bolstering the e-file in anticipation of open lines. Black's queen move to b6 increases pressure on the b2 pawn and keeps an eye on the center and kingside. 14. Queen d2, knight e4. White's queen move to d2 connects the rooks and supports the knight, preparing for potential kingside action. Black capitalizes on the opportunity, capturing the e4 pawn with the knight, initiating a tactical sequence. 15. Bishop e4, e4. White responds by capturing the knight with the bishop, maintaining material balance. Black recaptures with the d-pawn, opening the d-file and potentially creating passed pawn opportunities. As we progress through the middle game of the Winawer variation, the position becomes increasingly complex and dynamic. Both players are jockeying for position and seeking tactical opportunities. White's focus is on maintaining central control and preparing for a potential kingside attack, while Black aims to exploit structural weaknesses and create counterplay. This phase of the game highlights the intricate interplay of strategy and tactics inherent in the Winawer variation. As our exploration of the Winawer variation in the French defense concludes, we can appreciate the depth and intricacy of this complex opening. The moves we've analyzed show a battle not just for material, but for key squares, lines of attack, and strategic imbalances. Throughout the game, White aimed to exploit the open lines and central control, using the rooks and queen effectively. The knight maneuvers were crucial in maintaining pressure and adapting to the shifting dynamics of the board. Black's strategy revolved around undermining White's central structure and creating counter-attacking opportunities. The retreat of the bishop to d6, followed by active piece play, demonstrates a keen understanding of the positional necessities in the Winawer variation. The Winawer variation of the French defense epitomizes strategic depth and complexity in chess. It teaches players the value of patience, precision, and understanding the long-term implications of every move. For viewers seeking to enhance their strategic understanding and opening repertoire, the Winawer variation offers a profound journey into high-level chess thinking. It's an excellent choice for players who enjoy rich positional battles and intricate tactical sequences. Thank you for joining us in this detailed analysis of the Winawer variation of the French defense. We hope this video has provided valuable insights and broadened your perspective on this fascinating opening. Stay tuned for more in-depth explorations into the world of chess openings. Until our next chess adventure, keep studying, keep practicing, and most importantly, enjoy the journey of learning and discovery in chess.